Hello again. Welcome to my Realtor Hat series. I am just so excited. I am excited every time, but I'm really excited to be introducing you to Josh Blum of Mutual of Omaha because we are going to be talking about reverse mortgages. And the reason why I'm so excited is because I had such an idea about reverse mortgages, which wasn't true, that I didn't even really want to know much about it. And then when Josh gave me the education, I said, we have to let everyone know about these so that they can be educated. There's some of you out there who may have a lot of equity in your home or have equity in your home and you've heard about reverse mortgages, but you're afraid to find out. And then there's some of you out there who are the children of older parents who you want to make sure that they're taken care of while they're living, and they may live a very long time, thankfully, and you want to do that. You want to make sure that they're taken care of. I think this is for you too, so that you can listen to this, and then maybe you'd want to reach out to Josh and have a conversation with him too. So let's talk with Josh Blum of Mutual of Omaha, and sit back, and while we talk and we pray that we bring you something of value. Hi, Josh. It is so great to have you here today. Thank you for joining me.
Tanya, it's a pleasure. Always nice to see you again. Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. So, I really want us to educate our audience out there on what reverse mortgages are about. And we're going to dive into that really quickly. But I just wanted to ask you the question that I feel that I need to ask everyone I'm speaking to now is like, why did you get into what you do? Like, what made you decide to go this route? There's so many avenues we can go down.
It's a really good question. A lot of my friends used to laugh at me like I was crazy because I was an annuity wholesaler for a lot of years, which is a fairly complex retirement solution for people who are older, getting ready to retire in retirement. There's a lot of moving pieces, and it's really tough for people to understand, and it's tougher to help them understand why it works. So all my friends would joke around and they said, what, it wasn't hard enough being an annuity specialist. Now you're going to go be a reverse mortgage specialist. Are you crazy? And the reason I came into it is it's pretty simple. I just started running across more and more situations with people who are in retirement. They were trying to figure out cash flow, and their financial professionals were kind of turning around and saying, hey, here's your assets. Here's what we can manage. And this is the best that we can offer you as a solution. The problem with that was most financial advisors and most people looking at retirement, they ignore the wealth in the house. And Tanya, all they do is look at everything else. But the wealth in the house for most people represents 60, 70% of their overall wealth. So I started going, there's got to be something here that we can do with this wealth to help people have successful and stable retirements. And that's when I was introduced to the reverse mortgage. I realized, oh my gosh, there's an amazing opportunity to help people here and do something in a very professional manner that's kind of not done in the past. And that's what brought me into this over four and a half years ago.
Wow. So you've been doing this for 4.5 years, just focusing predominantly on reverse mortgages.
Yeah, retirement income focus for almost 20, but the reverse mortgage over 4 years going on to 5 now. Yeah.
Wow, great. Well, thank you for sharing that with me, because when I met you, I had this total misconception about reverse mortgages. If you remember that conversation, my eyes just got big and I was like, what? And I was, if I was so misinformed, and I'm a residential realtor, and I've been in the market for, I've been doing residential real estate for many, many, many years. I can't imagine what just the regular person out there who doesn't even have that background is thinking when they hear reverse mortgage. And when you educated me, I really wanted to have an opportunity to educate a lot of people. And this is a great opportunity. So can you talk to us a little bit about everything that you think that somebody who's just out there hasn't a clue or has these ideas that reverse mortgages are something that are bad? Could you just explain a little bit about that for us and what really is possible?
Yeah, happy to. It's amazing because there's such a large amount of misconceptions and myths and misunderstandings in the reverse mortgage, more than most other vehicles out there. Really, it's a loan, and a lot of people lose sight of that. They overcomplicate it. It's a way to unlock the equity in your house. For most people, as we get older, and a reverse mortgage, it's 62 and up generally. We have a lot of money in our house, but once we kind of hit that retirement stage, it's not easy to unlock unless we're selling the house. And that's typically, and I'm sure you can agree in your experience, more of a transfer of equity because we still need somewhere to live.
Right.
So we got to put that equity somewhere else. The reverse mortgage is a way for us to access equity in the house while we're still living in it. And it allows us the ability to make payments on it monthly or not to, which is the big difference between this and traditional loans. We get the choice and the flexibility on whether or not we're going to make a payment. Now that can work really well for people who are trying to figure out cash flow in retirement because it's typically, I need income or I need to reduce expenses. And the reverse mortgage can help with one or both of those sides of the equation to just really help solidify and secure retirement. So at the end of the day, it's a key to unlock the equity in somebody's house without having to move. That's it.
Wow. And then that in itself is a great way of looking at it because some people get scared. And then, of course, the children of the people who are doing the reverse mortgages, they're scared too because they're not educated and they don't want their parents to make the wrong decision, right? So so you get them all involved in the conversation and educate them all.
Yeah, as long as the parents want them involved. Part of that's respecting the parents' wishes because ultimately it's the parents' home. Right. So I always encourage the borrowers I work with to bring in family and whomever they want to bring into the conversation. And I'm really happy to spend as much time as necessary. But it's just one of those myths we talk about. People think, oh my gosh, the bank is taking the house. No, it's a loan. The bank's not taking your house when you get a normal loan. Why would it take the house when you have this loan? It is a way to spend down the equity in your house for sure. And you don't necessarily do that with the traditional loan unless you're doing a cash out refinance or home equity line of credit. But really, kids aren't disinherited with this. I mean, this is parents spending down some of their money for retirement. And when it's used prudently for that purpose, it's no different than spending down an IRA.
Right.
I mean, it really shouldn't be looked at any differently. So I do like to bring the kids into the conversation because just explaining that it's a way to spend down a bucket of money is not something that most people have ever heard.
Right. Wonderful. Now, let's go to one more thing, okay, which blew me away, which is that when you told me that you can buy a home with a reverse mortgage, that one, remember my shock because I actually never heard that until I met you. So please tell us a little bit about that.
So the traditional reverse mortgage came out in 87, 88, signed into law by Reagan and was, went ahead and was released, federally insured program. Back in 2009, not maybe coincidentally, right after the giant market crash we had in 08, a lot of people were trapped in their homes and they didn't have a way to really get out of their house that might not be affordable to them anymore. They were underwater or they had very little equity and get into an appropriate home. So this vehicle got created, what's called the HECM, Home Equity Conversion Mortgage, what is the formal name for a reverse mortgage, for purchase, or an H for P, that allowed people to take a lot less cash, purchase a home, typically like 50 to 60% down, and still not have to make a monthly payment. So for a lot of people, it's like, oh my gosh, I can buy a house at a 50% discount. It's like buying cash, except at 50% discount, or I've just doubled my purchasing power. I thought I could spend $300,000. Turns out I can really buy a $600,000 house with that same amount of money. And it totally flips what people are able to do. Becomes a really nice third option, Tanya, for people who are at that age, right? I could pay all cash. I could do a traditional mortgage, but maybe I don't want a payment the rest of my life. Right. Or I can do this, which kind of gives me the best of both worlds.
Yeah. So just in case people missed everything you just said, you can buy a house, you're putting down 50% on the home, and then once you buy it with a reverse mortgage, you actually have the option of not paying monthly mortgage payments like you do with a traditional mortgage.
That's exactly right. So compliance would kill me if I didn't mention, of course, you're still responsible for taxes and insurance, HOA dues if they're applicable, right? You still have to pay into the house in some ways, but there's no principal and interest payments that are mandatory on a monthly basis. So you get the choice. And for a lot of people, it's great. Hey, I can make payments, but I don't have to worry about it if things go wrong, or I don't ever have to make payments if I don't want to. And that's great because I don't plan on ever leaving the house.
So that third option could be like the gold, golden nugget for some people. And I'm sure with the, you're doing this all day long, every day. I mean, you're doing this. So people
Yes.
are loving this particular possibility for themselves.
I think when most people hear about something like this, they go, "I wish I knew about this sooner." But it's new. I mean, in the mortgage
Yeah.
world, it's like fixed rate mortgages. 30-year mortgage has been around since the 1930s. This
Yeah.
came out in '09.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
just don't know about it yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So I once you said it like that to me, I was like, okay, I don't feel so bad. I didn't know, because I felt like, how did I not know this? But it was such a pleasure to meet you, because after that, I mean, we've actually met with clients now, and clients of mine, so that you can educate them, and they have been in shock, and I have been working with you. So it's just been wonderful. So I really appreciate you taking the time to do this, because I think that this conversation is an important one for people to see and listen to. And I pray that they take the time to listen to this entire interview. But I want you to just tell people how they can reach you. What's the best way they can reach you?
Yeah, probably the best way is via email, just to reach out to me initially. jblum, JBLUM, at mutualmortgage.com.
Okay. And
It's
I'm
the
going to put
hands
that
down the easiest way to get a
information.
hold of me. Yeah.
I'll put that information below on here so that they'll see it, but I wanted you to say it so that they know they can just reach out to you that way. And of course, you can reach me too, so you can do that too out there, and I can connect you to Josh. Josh, this has been a pleasure. Now, this is just the beginning. People are going to have questions, so that's why they get to reach out to you. And I know you'll have more than love giving them the education, because you've done that so well for my clients. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. Thank you, Josh Blum.
Tanya, thank you. Love seeing you as always, and appreciate you.
I
Thanks.
appreciate you too. It's a pleasure. You take care.
All right, you too. Bye.
So you may have many questions or just a few. It doesn't matter. Reach out to Josh at 954-417-8486, or you can send him an email. All of the information is here. Feel free to reach out to him anytime. I promise you, he'll be a wealth of information for you. And on top of that, you know it, if you're buying or selling a home, or have a friend or family member who is, reach out to me, Tanya, at Tanya Homes Group. And remember, we wear the hats to bring you the facts.